Welcome to the first California State University Northridge Educational Dialogue. I'm Joe Martinez. We are going to have a discussion between two Pan-African Studies professors, Dr. David L. Horne and Professor Monica Turner. The topic is, has the presidency of Barack Obama helped or hurt the African American community? It must be noted that the professors are only advocating intellectual positions, not their personal beliefs. Professors, has President Obama been a good president?
No, I don't think so. We still have mass incarceration of black males and females. He's done nothing about that. We still have more black men in prison than we do in college. As Michelle Alexander recently wrote, we are in the throes of the new Jim Crow, and President Obama has done nothing about that. We are still disproportionately overpopulated in the ranks of the poor, the homeless, the ill-treated, the uninsured, and the disease-ridden in this country. We still don't have reparations. And President Obama has said he doesn't even support that concept for black Americans, even though we went to the polls and gave him over 90% of our votes in 2008. I mean, what has he done for us? We would have been better off with the racist white men we had before. At least with them, we expected nothing and basically got just that. Now, I do want to say that having Michelle Obama as America's First Lady, now that's powerful. That's been a great symbolic victory for black Americans, especially for black women. She exemplifies how a highly intelligent, graceful, classy black woman should carry herself. God knows we need more of that. But her husband as president, I think he's in over his head. I just do.
With all due respect, Professor Turner, let's go back a minute. If we want to make an evaluation about whether President Barack Obama has been a good president or not, well, let's talk about what a president is supposed to do. We are all pretty clear that the president is the commander-in-chief. We are all pretty clear that President Obama took an oath of office to protect the country, to make sure that the sovereignty of America was maintained, and to protect and honor the U.S. Constitution. Now, when we look beyond that, the president is not a superhero. The president, for example, cannot nationalize the banks and say, start loaning people money, stop foreclosing on people's houses. He can't do that without Congress. The president cannot nationalize the manufacturing and say, hire people. What we are talking about is that the president of the United States has a certain set of what we would call responsibilities, authorities. For example, he can do executive orders. The president signed an executive order to implement a new initiative for historically black colleges and universities, guaranteeing them that they would have another $500 million. The president ordered FEMA and the EPA to once again directly report to the president and not be squandered over in some bureaucracy. All of us remember Katrina, and all of us remember what happened when nobody could even determine what FEMA was supposed to be doing or where it was. The president ordered the White House and the federal agencies to respect the Freedom of Information Act, which helps all black researchers to find out what the CIA has been doing, who, in fact, did assassinate whom. What we are talking about is the president has used his executive order authority very well. Then you start looking at the president being a proposer of legislation. Cannot pass legislation on his own. The very first piece of legislation the president signed was the Lilly Ledbetter Act, for the first time providing women with comparable worth, which is what they've been trying to get for the last 150 years. First piece of legislation. What you are talking about is the president has proposed and authorized legislation all throughout his 3.5 years that people have not paid attention to. They fully funded the National Endowment for the Arts for a long time, helping a lot more black artists. He refunded the arts education in public schools so that black children can again start getting music education. We are talking about signing the first historic Wall Street reform bill that's ever passed. We are also talking about him fully funding the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs so that a lot of these black military veterans coming back will not be homeless. So when we start talking about evaluating whether the president has been a good president or not for the African American population, this is not about sentiment. This is about whether a president has actually done within the range and scope of his authority, whether he has done a good job within that, and clearly he has. We don't even need to talk about foreign policy. He killed bin Laden. He took a determination, took a decision that could have ruined his presidency. The man went all in. He could have ruined his presidency right then. 8 years, George Bush and John McCain, for that matter, tried to get bin Laden. Nobody got him. So what we are saying when we want to evaluate the president, yes, he's been a very good president, not just a good one, a very good one.
Professors, what do you think this president has done well or not well for the black community? Please be specific.
The president, going back to one of the issues raised by Professor Turner, the issue about homelessness and poverty. Well, the president signed the established Opening Doors Act, which is a federal strategy to prevent and to end homelessness. He provided $510 million for the rehabilitation of the Native American housing. He provided $2 billion for the Neighborhood Stabilization Program. What we are talking about is that the president has helped the black population. One of the best things that he has done, he has been able to negotiate with Congress to get an extension of unemployment benefits all the way through 2012. That means they will have had a safety net for 3 years for people who lost their jobs. A lot of those unemployed are African Americans. So what we are talking about is the president has helped the African American population. We could even start talking about education. The president enacted the largest reform of student aid in 40 years. He made sure students do not have to have this doubling of their interest rates. The president and his wife both had to pay student loans. In fact, they were paying student loans up until 2006. The president only got a chance to get out of that after he wrote those 2 books. What we are talking about is changing the whole relationship between banks and students. A lot of those are African American students. So in terms of what has the president actually accomplished, we have listed at least 80 pieces of legislation that the president has advocated, proposed, and pushed, and signed that tangibly benefited the African American population.
Well, he's shown how not to be the angry black man that many expected him to be, although he has every right to be angry. Many of us are very angry, and we want him to reflect that. I mean, look at how the Republicans have been treating him, yelling out that he's a lie as he gave his first State of the Union address, punking him over the budget deficit. He's taken all manner of hostility and insults from them, and he hasn't lashed back. But maybe he should have. However, I respect him because they have thrown the kitchen sink, and he has yet to break his stride. You know, he shows them that black men don't take no stuff, even though they have in this country, every day of their lives. And then they dump it on us, their black women, bringing us HIV, too much stress, and a feeling of futility against the system. Well, President Barack Obama has not done anything about that syndrome. Or if he did, he has certainly not done it well. Furthermore, how many blacks has he appointed to his administration? Bill Clinton and George Bush Jr. both appointed more black people than President Obama put together. Furthermore, black people are losing what little wealth they have accumulated. Over 53% of black wealth has evaporated based on the latest statistics because of this recession, and over 25% of black homeowners simply lost their homes during this economic downturn. And what has the president done about that? From what I can see, virtually nothing. The Republicans have emasculated him, and we simply do not need another emasculated black man this time on the world stage.